Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Stats and Chats. I'm Jason.
And I'm Bella. This week we'll be giving an F1 update, draft preview, and predictions. So, bing, bang, boom. Let's get started.
All right, here we go. On the eve of the big night.
The big
night. The big night. The first night of the next football season in a lot of ways, shape, or form. You excited?
Yes, I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. Should be interesting. Should be an interesting draft. We'll dive in a little bit later. But I do have a fun fact about the draft.
Okay.
Do you have any idea? Can you make any guess on the last team that won a Super Bowl with a quarterback that they drafted as the number one overall pick?
So, when was the last time a team won a Super Bowl with a number one drafted quarterback that they drafted?
Or who is that quarterback?
Was it the Chiefs?
No. That's a good guess, though.
Was Patrick Mahomes not number one?
No, he was not number one, actually.
Oh. Okay. I know Tom Brady wasn't number one.
No, he was one of the last drafted.
He was last.
Yeah.
Should I guess like a date?
You can probably easier. I mean, you can guess
probably
easier
to guess a quarterback.
You can guess the year of the draft, the
was
year
it
of
the
Super Bowl, the quarterback,
was it a
or
Manning?
the team. I mean, you kind of. I don't know if you get clues. Do you get clues? Is that how the game works?
Yeah.
It might have been a Manning.
Was it? Which one? Because this is like a defining guess right here. Like.
So part of the answer to your thought process is a little bit of a wrinkle.
What do you mean?
A little bit of an asterisk. So I'll just cut to the chase.
Okay.
The correct answer, as the question was worded, is the draft happened in 1998 when Peyton Manning was taken number one overall by the Colts. They did not win the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning until 2006. His brother, Eli, also won a Super Bowl with a team that he played exclusively on, but he was not drafted by the Giants. He was first drafted by San Diego and then traded before he set foot on the field for San Diego to the New York Giants.
I remember that. I remember that because I seen a clip of this online, and it's like they're like, we're not letting him play.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to go.
Yeah.
So then
his dad wouldn't let him play.
Because weren't they supposed to like trade so that he could go where he wanted? And then like the trade fell through and
something like that.
Right before the draft. Listen, I watched a video of this and I was starstruck because I had never heard of this before.
Yeah.
But I watched the video and I think there was supposed to be some sort of trade.
Yes.
So that he was supposed to end up
yes.
there. But for some reason or another, the trade didn't happen or it fell through.
Yeah.
And so like right on draft day, he got drafted to go play there. He didn't want to. Well, his dad wouldn't let him.
His dad wouldn't let him
and
play
then
there.
He was like, okay, you're being drafted.
That's right. That's right.
That's insane.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Very cool story in itself. But I think one of the main takeaways for today's football fans is to understand, even with having the number one overall pick and picking
doesn't mean your team's
the number one quarterback with that pick is far from guaranteeing you a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So something to keep in mind, Raiders fans, as you get ready for this year.
Raiders fan.
But before we dive into all that, just got off a cruise ship.
Yes. I ate so much ice cream.
Yes, you did. Yes, you all did.
Yeah. Maybe a little. Maybe a little bit much.
Huh?
But I also ate a lot of stuff besides ice cream. So, like, if you weigh it out, like...
Yeah.
Really, like, it's not that big.
What was your favorite thing?
Food or not, or like dessert?
Food or dessert? How about experience?
Well, I'll go with food and dessert first. My favorite dessert was the last night at the steakhouse, the red velvet or cheesecake.
Really?
Both of them were
Oh, yeah, I had a bite of that cheesecake.
They were
that was
so good.
That was good.
And then my favorite food would probably be the steak that I got there.
Yeah.
Or my pasta that I got at Giovanni's was really good.
What did you get there?
Alfredo.
Yeah.
It was good.
It's a lot of cream, man.
Okay. Well, I'm not lactose intolerant.
No, it's good. It's good. Do you feel like you indulged?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Because you did.
Okay, you can stop. You could stop the little comments because I don't want to hear
not
it.
Not to be outdone, your sister took it to a whole new level.
Yeah. She had 13.
And her partner in crime.
She had 13 on a 3-night cruise.
Yeah.
You know how many ice creams on average that is a day?
Too many.
4.3.
Too many.
Not including desserts.
But I'm impressed you did the math.
Welcome.
How about experiences outside of dessert?
Cabana.
Okay.
Cabana. I think it's a new thing. We've never had a cabana before this year. We've gotten 2 this year. And listen, all I'm saying is it changes everything.
I really like the beach the second day, though. And I kind of miss not spending more time on the ship, but we'll see. The great thing was the weather could not have been any better. Yeah. Seriously.
No, I definitely like the beach the second day better, but I loved the cabana the first day, so it was like, eh.
Yeah. I thought the X-rated pool party was fun. Because it wasn't X, it was more R.
It's more PG-13.
Nah, it was more R.
It was more PG-13.
Oh, they did bleep out some of the words of the songs.
They bleeped out all of the words.
Okay, PG-13. That's fine.
It was definitely PG-13.
That's fair. It wanted to be more, though.
It wanted to be more so bad. I wish it was more. I wish it was more.
All right. Yeah, that one's in the books, and then lots of things to look forward to in the next few weeks. But let's dive into F1.
Yeah.
A lot of news with just a couple of weeks. I feel like this break has lasted forever. I'm looking forward to another race. Good thing we get to be there to experience some of race weekend. So, all right, F1, take it away.
Yes. So, my little story this week, as I'm sure some of you F1 fans have heard, is Doriane Pin drove the Mercedes F1 car. She's the first ever woman to drive a Mercedes car. She is the 2025 F1 Academy Racing Champion. For those of you who don't know, F1 Academy is essentially the female racing F1. So it's meant to be a step towards getting more female drivers in F1. So if you think about, you have F1, F2, F3, F4, and then you have like a bunch of junior drivers. F1 Academy is kind of alongside of F2 and F3 and F4. But female drivers do drive in those as well.
Mm-hmm.
So for female drivers, it's less likely to go from F3 to F1 or F2 to F1. So they use F1 Academy as a sort of stepping stone. A little bit extra for them. They get to drive different cars. Kind of, it's more level because they all drive the same cars. It's not like F1 where the teams get to make specific adjustments. It's more based off of actual driver performance and strategy. So yeah, she's a French driver. She got the opportunity to be a part of the Mercedes F1 Development Driver Program. And this is a program that is not a female-only program. This is where Kimmy came from, actually.
Yeah.
Kimmy was also in this. So to the actual driving, she recorded 76 laps at Silverstone National Circuit. She prepared a lot with engineers and the team using the simulator. If any of you watched the F1 movie, you know the big simulator that they drive. She used that. And as her result, the team was very impressed with how quick she was able to pick up driving an F1 car, because even the difference between driving an F1 car and an F1 Academy car is so big. They were very impressed with how quick she was able to pick that up. Her overall goal is to race in a Formula One race. She practices driving at a team practice session. So looking into some of the requirements to compete in an F1 race, drivers must complete 300 kilometers of testing. She's already done 200, and accumulate 40 points throughout lower levels of formulas. So that's F1 Academy, F2, and F3, and F4. So those are the requirements for her to be able to drive an F1. And as you can see, she's already making strides towards that goal. She proved to the team that she could handle the physical and mental demands of F1, and given the chance, she could perform well. It also shows not only Mercedes, but other teams that she is capable of driving an F1 car, as in my opinion, Mercedes is not likely to give up their drivers in the near future. So even driving a Mercedes car shows other teams that she can handle an F1 car, which is a big deal, especially when you look at some of the lower placing teams.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. Only 5 women ever have entered an F1 Grand Prix, with only 2 successfully starting a race. So 5 have entered, only 2 making it through qualifying practice. If she ever started a Grand Prix, she would be the first to do so in over 50 years, and the first French woman ever to do it.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty cool.
Really cool.
Yeah. Personally, I think it's unlikely in the near future, but I think given the exponential growth that she's had towards it, I think it could happen.
Yeah.
I hope it happens.
What do you think? What do you think the timing
I think
might look like for that? First of all, it's a fantastic story. It's exciting. I feel like we could pick almost every sport at this point and point to significant progress in women's development, either separate women's leagues or just more attention, more interest, which is, I think, really exciting for a number of different reasons. But what do you think?
I think within 5 to 10 years, there will be a female driver in F1.
Do you?
Yes. I don't know if it's going to be her. I think it's likely that it's her.
Yeah.
But I think there will be a female driver in F1 in that amount of time. Because F1 Academy is already expanding, trying to get more women in it. I think it's only a matter of time before someone, makes it into F1.
So I found a few things really interesting looking into this a little bit. I guess in short, I think your timeline is probably accurate. 5 to 10 years, probably. But I'm not sure. A couple of things I found really interesting. The last woman to ever appear on an F1 race weekend at all was Susie Wolf, wife of Toto.
Yes.
Right?
I love Toto.
And who leads the men's F1 Mercedes team. And now she runs F1 Academy. So I think that's really, really cool. And that was at Silverstone in 2014. Doriane Pin is obviously the most advanced prospect right now, but as you talked about, she still has a long way to go, right? She still needs to drive F3, F2, and then find a race seat. So there's a long way.
No, she doesn't have to drive F3 and F2.
Well, she doesn't have to.
She doesn't have to.
But from a development standpoint,
it's good if she does.
It's traditional. That's the traditional route.
It's good if she does, but she doesn't have to.
Yeah. Would you not say that that's the traditional route unless you're Kimmy?
Well,
or
I
an
think
anomaly
it's
like that?
traditional, but I think it also differs from men and women. That's the traditional route for men.
Yeah.
Whereas because there's so little women who have made it up to that level, there isn't necessarily a traditional route to go that way.
That's fair.
I think it is an option for her, definitely, but I do think that it's more likely for her to do F1 Academy then, I mean, she's already winning F1 Academy. Do F1 Academy F2 and then F1. So
Yeah. Well,
I think she could skip F3 and F4, obviously.
I think it was a really great exercise for her, and it was cool to see. I think her last lap when she drove the car was her fastest. So that's really cool. She continued to get better and better and better as she drove it. One of the stats that really stuck out to me was the difference in horsepower between the F1 Academy cars and the F1 cars.
No, it's so different. That's why it's so impressive that she was able to adapt so quickly to the F1 cars and still keep a good pace.
Yeah.
Because they're so different, and the F1 cars are also so personalized.
Yeah.
Whereas F1 Academy cars are very basic. They're the same for every
Well,
driver.
the F1 Academy runs on 165 horsepower. The F1 cars run on 1,000. So exponential difference in the amount of power. I thought there's a couple of cool things that are good reasons for her potential and for women in general. The first one is there's a new rule that teams have to take at least 4 sessions per season to run development drivers in their initial practice run during a Grand Prix. So that FP1 has to be run by a developmental driver on at least 4 sessions per season for every single team. So that opens up more and more opportunities for development
and it really
of drivers that aren't on the team.
It also really gets to showcase her to other teams. I mean, obviously she's Mercedes development driver,
right?
So she wants to go with Mercedes, but
absolutely,
given the chance, she would go anywhere.
Well, and other female drivers. I think the second piece is the growth of F1 Academy, which is really cool. 18 cars, all 11 F1 teams committed. Silverstone added in 2026. So they'll be driving F1 Academy at Silverstone this year, which is great. And then female karting participation up from 5% to 30% in the last 3 years. So growth, and growth in the pipeline to get to F1 Academy, which is really, really cool. So I think 5 to 10 years is realistic. And it'd be exciting to see. I hope it is. I hope it's sooner rather than later.
Yes.
But it seems like the building blocks and the structure is in place to develop.
Well, and it also seems like everyone is open to it.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Because when there's discrimination or opposition to women competing, that prevents them from being able to be given the chance.
Yeah.
So it's the best driver who wins.
Yeah.
So I think if you have a good enough driver, everyone's happy to have them on the field. So
yeah.
Or the track.
Good stuff.
It's not a field.
Exciting stuff.
You get
I'm glad that we get to see F1 Academy when we're in Miami too.
Yes, it's going to be fun.
On Saturday.
It's going to be very fun.
Yeah. It's going to be a full day of racing. Very, very cool. All right. Let's talk draft. I am ready to go. So there's a lot of different things we could talk about with the draft. I kind of honed in a little bit on the quarterbacks and the portal and the NIL and just kind of the current state of this quarterback class and how we got here with these quarterbacks. And honestly, whether it's a good thing for college football, good thing for NFL teams, and a good thing for viewers. So quick kind of recap of where we are. We've got 5 kind of key quarterbacks that have been identified. There'll be more than that drafted, but we've got obviously Fernando Mendoza, who is at this point, the day before the draft, consensus number 1 pick and will be drafted by the Raiders. That's barring any last second surprises, but it sounds like any possible trades are off the table. You got Ty Simpson in Alabama, Diego Pavia in Vanderbilt, Carson Beck out of Miami, and then Garrett Nussmeier out of LSU. So those are 5 of the big names, quarterback names in this draft. The setup, so going into the draft, there's really 5 NFL teams that have critical quarterback needs. You could argue more, but we know that the Raiders desperately need one. The Jets desperately need one. The Cardinals don't have a clear long-term plan at quarterback. They decided to trade away let go Kyle Murray. The Steelers, Aaron Rodgers, once again, you are on the clock. And but whether it's 1 year or not, obviously he's not the long-term plan.
Yeah.
And then you got the Rams, who obviously Stafford's there, amazing year last year, but the end is near for him. So they really have to start thinking about who
they're going to bring in,
who their clear backup is going to be after.
And getting that now so that, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. You're good.
Getting that now so that they can mentor under Stafford is good, because then they can come up when he leaves, and then they can draft someone new to come up.
Exactly.
So it's long-term thinking.
Yeah, Super Bowl winning quarterback, successful in two different cities, two different franchises. He'll be a Hall of Famer, obviously, and that's the kind of setup to mentor your next franchise player. So that said, there's really only one true first-round grade in this class, and the NIL and portal have a lot to do with it. So one of the things that's really cool about looking at each of those top quarterbacks is they all handled the NIL and portal a little bit differently, and it impacted them all a little bit differently. It kept Mendoza in college, right? He was at Cal and could have gone, went to Indiana, won the Heisman, won the Natty. So he's set up to go number one, somewhere around a $55 million rookie contract. Check the box. Really good. In a lot of ways, it saved Carson Beck. So he got injured at Georgia. The 24-25 season was kind of left without any clear direction, and his stock plummeted. Decided to transfer to Miami, led the Canes all the way back to the Natty. And all of a sudden, he's in the conversation for potentially round 3, maybe a round 4 pick, where he wouldn't have been.
Yeah.
There's a chance he wouldn't have been drafted coming out of Georgia after the way it ended there. It made Diego Pavia. He was nobody's radar at New Mexico State, went to Vanderbilt. He was a Heisman runner-up. Right? And then Ty Simpson never used the portal at all. He just sat quietly at Alabama, waited his turn, started one season, did it the old school way.
Yeah.
And now is likely going to be the second quarterback picked.
Yeah.
Right. So everybody used it a little bit differently, but they used it. Except for Simpson, who's still going to finish number 2, even with just one full season of work. But it also is keeping some of the best quarterbacks available in school for another season, which to me is one of the really fascinating things. You got Dante Moore. He could have easily been a top 5 pick this year, but decided to stay, turning down that guaranteed first-round QB contract to stay in school for one more year. Trinidad Chambliss at Ole Miss, he went to court to get one more year of eligibility at Ole Miss after last season. And then you got Doriane Mendoza, who just transferred to Miami out of Duke. Now he's going to be with the Hurricanes, and they're counting on him to lead them back into the national championship conversation again this year. So looking at the NIL by the numbers, just to understand, that old adage, follow the money. Follow the money and you'll understand why things are happening. In 2021, it was year 1 of the NIL. $393 million total was paid to college football players. $393 million. Fast forward to 25-26. That number went from 393 to 1.9 billion.
Yeah.
1.4 billion from school revenue sharing, plus collectives, commercial deals, and more. By 2027, that's projected to go from 1.9 to 2.6 billion dollars. That is crazy money. Nearly 5 times growth in just 4 years. Crazy money. All that while schools are capped at just 20.5 million per year per athletic department, with every Power 4 school required to participate. So That's for the whole athletic department. It's all the other stuff, right? That adds to those huge numbers. So here's the question. You got Dante Moore turning down $50 million to stay in school. Chambliss went to court to stay. Is it more exciting and better for a fan because college football is getting better, or is it a problem for the NFL because these top recruits are staying longer in school?
Okay, so my thought on this is I think it's better. I think it is better everywhere because college gets better because you have more stars. More stars mean more people watch. The more people watch, the more revenue they make. Follow the money.
Mhm.
It's better for NFL because at the end of the day, those recruits are still going to the NFL. You talk about Mendoza. Went to Indiana, became Mendoza. Now he's going for first in the draft. Helped him. Then you talk about people that it didn't help so much. And hey, that's still pretty entertaining too. So they're all still going to the NFL eventually. It just means maybe everyone's drafting after their 5th year now. Transition for the next 2 years is going to be kind of rough, but then hey, now everyone's doing it. It doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
Who cares? I also think it places more emphasis for now because, again, once everyone starts drafting 5th year, then whatever, it's fine. It places more emphasis now on the whole team rather than a quarterback because quarterback doesn't make a team.
Sure.
Team makes team. So I think it's good because, frankly, no offense to some of these NFL teams, but they really need to know that you need more than just one player. Because I think that's sometimes what the draft promotes, and I think this little grace period kind of shows that, okay, there are 4 quarterbacks in the draft. Hope you have a good one. If you can't, better figure something else out.
Yeah.
I think it makes more fun, more drama. I like that.
All right. That's good. That's good. Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think I agree with you for the most part. I think we're in the middle of a transition period, which is one of the reasons why this particular class is weak. Last year's was better. The year before was better. I think next year will be better. So I think this might be kind of the dip before things start going back up a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, Dante Moore himself said very clearly, if it was money, he would have gone to the NFL. He's just trying to get and become as talented as possible before he goes, which in the long run, so that's good for the player. And that's good for the NFL once we get to that place where everybody is staying, right? We're just kind of in that dip, and I think that goes for all the players. The more they stay in school, the more they get experience, not only playing, but the NIL and portal also give them an opportunity to play in different schools with different coaches and learn different schemes and learn different organizations. So that way, when they get to the pros, it's not shock because they've only played at one high school and one college before they get there. And not only is everything faster and the players are better, but it's something new and they're not really used to new. So I think that shouldn't be understated either.
I also think it's okay, this is kind of like a long shot theory, but I'm just thinking it's also good for the NFL because people know the NFL. They know Peyton Manning, they know Eli Manning, they know Tom Brady, they know Aaron Rodgers. But if you look at what the majority of players do after, a lot of the stars, a lot of the big players, they want to keep talking about the NFL. They want to keep doing things related to the NFL. Giving them more experience in college helps prepare them for how to manage media and how to live a life besides football. It's like getting more real life skills before you have to go and work every single day, which is important.
Which hopefully they're taking advantage of. Which, I mean, that's a fantastic point. Yeah, let's not forget college is actually school. And you have the opportunity to learn. One of the things that I remember, they were interviewing all the players. It was press day before the national championship.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody asked Carson Beck, leading up to the Natty, has he missed any time in class preparing for the national championship? And he kind of laughed and was like, yeah, I haven't been in a classroom and I don't know when or whatever. Like, dude, go to school.
Yeah. Like,
you're at school.
I think that's what they're missing. And I think that's also what the NIL is making it, is like a mini pro league. And that's not what it is. Like, it's kind of that, yes. But at the same time, like, you're also there for other things.
Sure.
And I think why football's so different than any other sport, once you make a name for yourself, you can stay there for, look at Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't, like, you're pretty much set for life because of the money.
Well,
so
you could be.
You could be. But I think where they're missing it is you could burn out at any point. You could burn out your 5th year when you decide you want to stay because you think you're going to get more money than going in the 6th round of the draft or whatever.
Sure.
But then you burn out and then you get to the NFL and nobody wants to draft you anymore because you're burnt out. You just ruined your chances of being drafted. Now what are you going to do?
Right.
So I think if they can also try and emphasize that piece a little bit more, that'll also help boost college and NFL, because then after NFL, those players are still understanding how to come back to it.
Yep.
In a, like, not braggy, like, kind of way, if that makes sense. So, yeah.
Completely agree. Take advantage of the time at school, around some of the smartest people in the country. That's I think that's fantastic advice. The one piece to all of this that I think concerns me probably the most is what the NIL is doing to reshape the college game. And what I mean by that is, as an example, Dante Moore is staying at Oregon for one more year. Phil Knight went to Oregon and he's donating over $1 billion to Oregon to drive NIL, to pay players to win a national championship for Oregon. Not every university has Phil Knight. So I think, they've set these standards where each team has $20 million to spend, each school, but there has to be some sort of regulation or reform.
Because then you're just going to have the same rich schools going every single year. Because they can afford the best players.
Yeah. And the reality
is... And then
is...
it turns into an NFL.
Right.
Which is not what it is.
Well, and not even the NFL, because the NFL has a cap.
Yeah.
The NFL has a cap. So it's not the NFL right now. There is no cap for schools. And so the schools that have the wealthiest boosters are going to be able to pay the most players. That's how Indiana won. And they're going to be, one of the things they were called out on was being by far one of the oldest teams, average age in college football last year. They're going to be even older this year. So the money is flowing in to keep these older, experienced players and pay them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there has to be more reform around that, or we're going to see whatever teams have the richest boosters.
And it's going to be the same teams over and over again because that's the legacy.
Or they're just going to sell out to the wealthiest people, which isn't for more control over everything else at the university. Who knows? Yeah. It's not a great recipe. You want to look at parity and consistency.
It's not sustainable.
No. So that's my biggest concern. But interesting. We'll see what happens this year. We'll see what happens in the draft. I'm excited to see where the rest of the QBs go. I'm excited to see what the first round looks like. And it'll be a fun few days. So when you think about the draft, who do you think is going to have, you can look at the number of picks, but there's so much change. There've been so many changes. in head coach and front office. So
Yeah.
when you look over the landscape, which team do you think is set up to have, an A+ draft, and which team might be, we might all be scratching our heads a little bit at the end of the weekend?
I have two kind of for the best.
Yep.
And one of them is the Raiders. Obviously, they have the number one, but they also have a total of 10 picks, which means not only do they have the number one, but they can build around the number.
Yep.
Which I think is important for longevity of the team. They also have a good amount of cap room, which is helpful in building.
They do.
I think when we're looking at team, I think they can balance both sides of the ball for this one. I think they can build around Mendoza. I think they have the potential to have a good draft. Whether they take advantage of that, I'm not sure.
Yep.
But they have the ability to. Second, Steelers.
Okay.
They have 12 picks. A lot of picks. I think that they can find some of the hidden gems, undiscovered, I don't know how else to put it, but the people that aren't the stars but could be as good as the stars if given the chance. And I think they have the amount of picks where they can do that without using their cap too much. I just think they have to pick the right people, because I don't think that they're going to build a team around stars.
Yep.
I don't think that's going to happen. But I think if they can focus on getting the Tom Brady out of the 6th round.
Right.
Focusing on that and shifting that a little bit, I think they can really get some good people.
Yeah.
For not a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That one's a little interesting to me, but I'm just curious about how they're going to do that.
Yep.
For the worst, I have the Falcons. They only have 5 picks. They don't really have a lot to build around. I just also don't really see much of the strategy coming behind their team right now. So yeah.
Yeah.
It's just me.
Well, actually, it's not just you. So I think I'm worried about the Falcons this year. Not that I care about the Falcons, but I'm worried about the Falcons for the same reason. Those 5 picks are tied for the fewest in franchise history. And the quarterback is very unsettled at this point. I still think they should have kept Kirk Cousins for another year. I don't see I don't see Tua coming in and earning that top spot. I just think that he's damaged from his time in Miami. I think his height is a little bit of a problem. And so I just don't see that as a long-term piece. And Penix is just
there.
He just has not emerged as the franchise guy that he was chosen to be a couple of years ago. So quarterback is a big problem. They got Drake London, they've got Bijan, they've got Kyle Pitts. So, but after those 3 players,
there's not much.
There's a huge drop off.
They have some star talent and then
just a few, and then just a huge drop off. So they finished the year last year 8-9. I think, listen, I think that Stefanski is a great coach. He's coming out of Cleveland, which you can't fully grade a coach, in my opinion, coming out of Cleveland, because Cleveland is Cleveland, and there are issues at the top that you can only do so much with. So I think they got the right coach. They brought in Cunningham, who was Ryan Poles' right-hand man in Chicago, to be the new GM. So I think the foundation is there. I think this is a bit of a scratch year.
I feel like it's just get who you can, and I think long term they're in a somewhat stable position, but I don't see this year being there.
Yeah, I mean, they finished last year 8-9. They missed the playoffs again. Missed the playoffs. I don't see that record getting better this year. I think the goal in Atlanta should probably be stop the bleeding and start deciding on what direction.
Yeah.
And then do everything you can this year to be ready to make an incremental leap next year. One of the things Cunningham was part of in Chicago was turning, 5 picks into 10 picks.
Yeah.
And making a lot of trades. And there's still a chance. I'm not going to be surprised to see Atlanta trade some of their earlier picks to get more picks later in the draft, just to start the process. But overall, I think it's going to be a challenging weekend for Atlanta. My pick for best draft of 2026 is going to the Miami Dolphins. You want to know why? They've got 11 picks. Tied for the most in the draft. 7 inside the top 100. They're only the second NFL team in history to own 7 picks in the first 3 rounds. They've got a lot of picks and a lot of early picks. The front office is completely new. So they brought in John Eric Sullivan, who was 22 years in Green Bay. He worked from intern up to assistant GM. He was there for all of it. The transition to Aaron Rodgers, transition to Jordan Love. He was there for all of it. And say what you will about Green Bay, they've always been consistent near the top. They never had a down year. Their down year was middle. It was never down. Yeah. It's like since Favre has been there, it's never been down. And he was there for over 20 years of it. So they brought him in, finally got a shot, did it right. And then the new head coach, Jeff Haley, was Green Bay's defensive coordinator. So they're already, best buds, hands are locked, clear vision of how to do this. And I think that that's huge.
Yeah.
Sullivan's already said we're going to be a draft and develop team. So he wants to draft players and he wants to develop them. And then you look at what they already have. While it's not a ton, they got their QB. So Malik Willis, many rated as the best backup quarterback, should have been starting last year and did start a bunch of games when Jordan Love was out in Green Bay. Matt LaFleur, current Green Bay coach, said he can make any throw on the planet and he would put him up against anybody. Set a Senior Bowl record when he was in college with the highest velocity at over 75 miles an hour for his pass. Had 6.9 yards per designed run, which is the best of any QB over the past 2 seasons, and 8.9 out of any scramble situation last year when he played. So I think they've got the quarterback. So they've got all these picks to build around their franchise quarterback. So I think it's going to be Miami. They finished last year 7-10. It's a tough division. New England, obviously, resurged. Yeah. You got to believe the Bills are still going to be strong. I don't think the Jets are going to be good, even with whoever they pick at quarterback. I think Aaron Glenn's got some issues. So I see the Dolphins getting to at least 500 this year. They could be one of the most improved teams in the league this year.
Yeah.
Depending on how this draft goes. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Cool.
Yep. So we got the draft. We got F1 in a week. You excited?
Yes.
We're going to take a couple weeks off.
Yes.
Get through
AP testing.
Get through some AP testing, some ACE testing.
Yeah, it's not a good thing.
A lot of testing. But the good news is it's almost the end of the school year.
Finally.
But we'll be watching. We'll be reporting. Maybe we'll be posting a few things along the way.
Yeah.
Then we'll be back soon.
Yeah.
In the meantime,
like, follow, subscribe, leave a comment on Instagram, Threads, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We love to hear all your feedback.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.